All right, so this is the final 2 weeks to this little 1 to 2 month 10K training plan. So just to kind of recap, for about a month, we just had 3 to 4 days of training per week. Wasn't very specific, but it was just getting some work under our belt. And then we did week 5 and 6, where we did 4 cardio workouts a week, 2 Peloton days, 2 days running, and then we did 2 resistance days as well. And then now we're doing week 7 and 8, which is week 8 is when we're going to be racing. And so one of the things that you think about when you're creating a plan is you usually start by working backwards. So we didn't have a whole lot of time for this training plan, but here's our 10K, and then we're going backwards from here. And so this week is obviously before your race, and one of the things you want to realize is that you don't get a whole lot of training gains. It takes time to get your training gains, about 2 weeks to get most of your training gains. I mean, you get it in about a week, but we're not really doing a whole lot here. We're just doing a little bit of work and staying sharp. So a lot of times what you do is you decrease the volume and increase the intensity, right? Or a lot of times you take away a lot of the intensity to recover, but you do more shorter intensity. So I'm going to highlight that, but let's just start with this week here. So let's switch up our colors. Let's go. Okay, so Tuesday of this week, right? So you're 2 weeks out. You're just going to do a HIIT training workout. So as usual, you're going to do a nice easy warm-up. And then this is longer than we've gone before. The longest interval we did running was 90 seconds, but we're going to get up to 3 minutes right here. I think that'll help us hold a pace for a little bit longer. So you got to be easy. You don't want to go too hard. Again, your heart rate is right here, zone 4. So that's like 152, I believe, and above, in between 150 and 170, basically. I like to use RPE here because, sometimes it's hard to perceive your heart rate right when you start running. But a 3-minute run, you'll be able to see that heart rate. You just want to make sure you keep it below zone 4, or below zone 5. So slow down if you get into zone 5. And then we got our 10-minute cool down. So that should be pretty easy. This is kind of like our last really challenging running workout. We'll have 2 more down here. Next up, we got our Peloton day. So we have this right here, 40 minutes, same as usual. You can get your heart rate into zone 4 and 5 if you want. And then we also have our resistance training here, so you can just continue that as usual. Friday, same kind of deal. Well, let me say here, we're doing 2 sets again, so you don't have to do these Tuesday and Wednesday. You can do it Monday, Tuesday. So this is a set right here, and then this is another set. So you got to do both sets. You should do this set before you do this set, so they are ordered in your week. Let's see here. All right, so we got the Peloton bike right here. Again, you can get into that zone 5 if you want. It's better to start toning it back a little bit, but zone 4 to zone 5 is pretty good. Actually, I mean, you should hit some zone 5 this day because we didn't have a whole lot of weeks, so we do still want to get some fitness. We'll still get fitness a week out from this race. And then we have our run over here. So this is just an easy run as we did, right? If your heart rate gets above zone 2, which is 132, then you're just going to walk until your heart rate comes back down. And we're just going to go 45 minutes, nice and chill. My friend did have a question. He said, should I be running a 10K before I run the 10K? And in my opinion, I would say no, because we are running the 10K in order to finish the 10K. So I don't see a reason to finish a 10K before we finish a 10K. So the goal is to do a 10K on 10K race day. So we don't need to run that beforehand, but that's a common question that I get. All right, so then this next week, you want to think about these days. I mean, we're resting all week, but we're doing a little bit of intensity just to stay sharp. So this will be a nice, easy 10-minute warm-up for your run, right? And then we're just doing 3 by 60 seconds at a RPE or a heart rate of zone 4, but we probably want an RPE of what do we want? Probably like a 7 out of 10, right? So you're not going very hard because you don't want to get injured, especially now either. So you don't run super fast on these, even though you might be feeling a little fresh because you're getting recovered. You still need to be chill for these days. So let's highlight that. So heart rate, you can still get it into zone 4, but I think going off your RPE is going to be a little bit better there. Of course, here we still have a resistance training day, but it's going to be a lot easier. So only 10 minutes of resistance training. if we had been preparing for this race for months, and let's say we were trying to run at a high level, we'd probably be working up to plyometric type stuff, but we didn't have time for that, and that's fairly risky with injury. So we're just doing normal resistance training, but just 10 minutes to stay sharp. Then we got our Peloton day right here, and this is just an easy day. So I don't know how the Peloton workouts work. A lot of them get your heart rate really high. So if you don't want to do one of the set workouts, you just bike nice and easy, heart rate below 132, and you can do this for 30 to 40 minutes. So 30 to 40 minutes, nice and chill on that Peloton. Again, we're resting early in the week. We're doing a little bit of intensity, but not much. And then we get back over to this running day. This is the day before your race, so this is going to be very easy. You're going to do 4 by 30 seconds, quick, right? So you want to be relaxed when you're doing these. Again, you don't want to injure yourself or overexert yourself. You're just feeling fresh and sharp and fast. And then 1 minute rest. Really what we're doing is we're sharpening up your neuromuscular system to be able to fire rapidly, and then just not doing a whole lot so that you are rested for the next day. And so for these, because your heart rate's not really going to get up there in 30 seconds, think about like a 6 to 7 out of 10 effort on those when you're thinking about speed. So you should be chill, but you should be kind of fast, if that makes sense. And then you rest, and then you race. What else do I need to tell you? Some people ask about carb loading. Technically, you should be carb loading about Thursday. To be honest, it's not going to have a huge impact, like you can do it. I don't know, carb loading. There we go. So some people do it the night before. That doesn't really help you. I forget exactly why. I just remember the outcome. I don't remember how I got to that outcome. But Thursday is a day where you want to eat some extra carbs if that's what you're trying to do. And then I guess we could talk about how you warm up for your race. So what you want to do before your race is you want to, just do that 10-minute warm-up again. Get the body warm. We're not running super fast. If we were, trying to run a certain time or something, then I would have you do a longer warm-up, probably 15 minutes, and you'd be doing some strides, which is like a little, like a 100-meter like sprint, kind of like these. These are strides right here. So we don't necessarily need to do these. I mean, you could do a few of them if you want. You could do like 2 by strides, 100 meters or 30 seconds. You could do that. So let's do some strides here. So 30-second strides. 10-minute warm-up. Let's get rid of that. And then we're going to do 2 by strides, 30 seconds. And you want to do this probably about, how long before the race? Probably about 30 minutes before the race. You can start your warm-up. Take your time, right? So after your warm-up, you can get some water, chill for 5 minutes before you do these 2 guys right here. So 30 minutes prior. Let's say that. And then for your race, I guess we could talk about this. This is a good question. So since we are not highly trained because we just started and we're trying to finish a 10K, we want to start out fairly chill. So let's look at our heart rate zones over here. So in my opinion, because we aren't elite, we're going to be running in about zone 3. So you want to kind of keep your heart rate below 150 beats per minute. If you get carried away running too fast, we might actually higher than that, you might not have a good time. So the idea is keep your heart rate about 150 beats per minute. Of course, as the race goes on, you can start to increase that, right? So, if you have 2 miles left, you can start to go above 150 beats. Or maybe you want to save it to 1 mile, right? Because 10K is, that's not what it is, 6.2 miles. So, I'm not exactly sure. I forget what pace you've been running at for your easy runs. We've been doing some walking, so it's hard to say exactly. So if you need to walk to get that heart rate back down, that's fine. But that'll just help and make sure that you can get through the race, right? And then, so if you're doing 10-minute miles, that would be a 1-hour race. All right, and so if you're going slower, if you're going 15-minute miles, you're looking at a 90-minute race. And so for these races, you don't really need to take in sugar. You could take in sugar during the race, but you don't have to. Once you get close to 90 minutes, that might be the point where you're taking in sugar during the race. You want about 100 calories every 30 minutes, but you probably won't really need that, and it might mess with your stomach, so I think it's better to just avoid it for a 10K. You can drink water if you want, but I don't think you need to be consuming a whole lot here. Beforehand, if you're talking about eating before the race, you probably want to eat, well, I would say 3 to 4 hours prior to race. Hours prior for eating. Now, protein takes longer to break down. Protein and fat take longer to break down in your body. So if you're eating more protein, you want to go more towards that 4 hours. If you're not, you might want to go a little bit lighter on the protein. And then you just eat 3 hours beforehand or so you're good to go. Caffeine helps as well. So if you drink some coffee, that is a performance enhancer. So let's highlight that. That's a good thing to know. So I would take some caffeine in. I would eat about 3 to 4 hours prior. You don't need to take caffeine right away. Caffeine's half-life is like 4 hours. So if you just drink that with this meal, you should be good to go. And you don't need to take caffeine during the race. You'll be fine. People take salt tabs. You don't need to do that for this race. It's short, and it's debatable whether you ever need to take salt tabs. So, and then after your race, you can just do a walking cool down just to kind of relax your muscles a little bit. If you go and just sit down right after your race, your muscles are going to tighten up kind of in the position that they're in while you're sitting, and you're not going to have a good time standing back up. So just stay active at the end of the race, walk around. And that should be good. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And good luck on your 10K. All right, that is good.